On to this now. Trade Union Federation Cosatu continues to face a backlash over its proposal to save Eskom. The Unpaid Benefits Campaign is sceptical about the plan to use workers' pensions to bail out the utility. It says Cosatu should rather help workers and their dependents access the unpaid pensions or provident funds. It's believed that over 50 billion rand in unpaid benefits is owed to workers in the private sector. To discuss this, I'm joined by Dale McKinley. He is from the Unpaid Benefits Campaign. Dr. McKinley, it's been a while.
It has been.
I've spoken
Thank
to you in a very long time. Good morning to you. Thank you for your time. Yeah. Why do you accuse Cosatu of not doing enough to help the workers here access their pension or provident funds?
Well, it's a simple, our position is fairly simple, which is that since 1994, the amount of unpaid pensions has almost quadrupled. As you mentioned, it's over 50 billion. That means there's something wrong. That means that people are not being traced, that miners, and this particular funds that Cosatu was trying to focus on, which is mine workers' funds. Now, there's up to 15 billion. As for what we know in mine workers' funds, and 60% of that is due to foreign nationals, people that came from Mozambique and Malawi and otherwise. And Cosatu is saying, sorry, we can't find them, let's use it to bail out Eskom. And we're saying, hold on a minute, just hold on. We need to prioritize the search. People deserve to have that effort made for them, and Cosatu simply hasn't done that, along with most of the other stakeholders.
I was speaking to Matthew Parks this morning from Cosatu, and he says exactly the words you're using, that it's too difficult to trace these workers. These are workers that would have been in the system at 20, 40 years back. It's hard to trace them, basically.
It is hard to trace them, and nobody's saying it's not a difficult process. But the problem is that not much effort has been put into it. We have done our research with regards to fund administrators and with regards to the unions themselves, who many of these workers were former members of. And they've been sitting still, essentially. They haven't been going out. You have to be proactive. You've got to go out and do your investigative work. You've got to go out and trace them. And they've been basically saying, well, sorry, it's too difficult. Now we're going to use these funds for other means. And that's wrong.
In your statement, I think you go as far as accusing Cosatu of pretending to care for workers when, in fact, they actually readily want to hand over their hard-earned monies when they retire to a bottomless pit like Eskom.
Well, I think that certainly Cosatu is not a monolithic entity, and I certainly think that there's contestation within the federation. But as a federation, yes, it has not done enough. And I think most Cosatu people would probably admit that, the fact that that's the case. And we have a situation, I mean, look at the silicosis case, where miners waited for 20 or 30 years to get compensation and justice. We're saying that this has to be prioritized. We looked at the recent budget, the annexure to the budget, and there's a section in there on unclaimed benefits which nobody's picked up.
What about the role of the administrators of these funds, sure, or the regulator, for example, the FSCA? What role do they play, or have they played, and have they failed also?
Yes, they have also failed, and particularly, I think you know the case of Rosemary Hunter, the former pensions adjudicator, and the cancellation of thousands of pension funds that were found by the courts when they went there to be illegal. They had funds in them. So what we're having is a fire sale of pension funds trying to grab these billions and use them for other purposes, and we're saying that cheats the workers. That basically, these are generally people who are in poverty, who are waiting. It would change their lives to access these pensions, and we're saying, no.
What happens to these funds if the beneficiaries are not traced, or their families?
Well, the one thing that's happened to those that have been cancelled is some of the funds then just get basically invested by the fund administrators in whatever they want. In other cases, the monies go to massive amounts of fees for high-paid lawyers and other kinds of administrators. So this is, as far as I think most rational people would be concerned, it's an outrage. Here we have people who work their entire lives and who are deserving of these pensions, and simply because the administrators and the regulators can't do their job, these people are going to basically die in poverty.
I asked Matthew Parks this morning whether these funds, these unclaimed benefits, are part and parcel of what they are proposing be sent to bail out Eskom, and he didn't answer the question directly.
Well, his spokesperson of Cosatu answered it, and let me just quote Sizwe Pamla, basically saying that we need to rationalize the potential use of mine workers' benefits. Quote, those mine workers who cannot be found because they're from Mozambique and some from the Eastern Cape. This is the Cosatu spokesperson saying, well, we can't find them. They're in deep Lusiki somewhere, and so therefore we're just going to take this money. Now, they haven't said how they're going to use that money, but it's certainly not going to be for workers. And what we're saying is, hold on. Let's prioritize this. Government has recognized this, as I said, in this annexure to the budget. They've said we want to establish a central registry of pension funds and basically begin to track people down. If that's the case, that's the way we're saying we should go. Let's not get rid of these funds now and basically cheat workers out of their hard-won pensions.
All right, Dr. Dale T. McKinley. Thank you very
Thank you so much
for coming through. He is from the Unpaid Benefits Campaign. Let's take a